I often found myself pondering the same questions. Why did I always seem to rub people the wrong way? What was it about me that made fitting in such a struggle? It's not as if I go out of my way to be difficult. I'm kind, compassionate, and always willing to lend a helping hand. Yet, time and again, I find myself facing resistance and negativity from others. It's baffling and disheartening. I'm acutely aware of my own nature. I know I'm different. My mind is a whirlwind of thoughts and ideas, constantly seeking knowledge and understanding. I'm an observer, a deep thinker, and my insights often catch people off guard. But why is this a bad thing? Why does my authenticity make others so uncomfortable? These are the questions that plague me. I can't shake the feeling that I'm being judged for simply being myself. It's as if my uniqueness is a threat to the status quo, a disruption to the comfortable norms of society. I yearn to break free from this invisible cage, to embrace my true self without fear of judgment or reprisal. But the cost of authenticity seems impossibly high. I began to realize that my struggles with acceptance weren't entirely my fault. Sometimes people lash out at what they don't understand. I noticed that kindness and intelligence can be intimidating, especially to those who are insecure in themselves. It was a painful realization, but it gave me a glimmer of understanding. It wasn't that I was doing anything wrong. Sometimes just my presence seemed to expose the vulnerabilities of others. My quiet confidence, my ability to see through facades, my genuine desire to connect on a deeper level. These qualities could make people feel exposed, as if their own shortcomings were magnified when I was around. It was a heavy burden to carry, knowing that my light could inadvertently cast shadows on others. Yet, I couldn't bring myself to dim my own shine. To do so would be a betrayal of myself, a denial of my true nature. I refuse to apologize for being who I am, even if it makes others uncomfortable. For years, I tried to fit in, making myself smaller so I wouldn't ruffle any feathers. I downplayed my intelligence, stifled my curiosity, and pretended to be less capable than I truly was. I contorted myself into a pale imitation of who I thought I was supposed to be, all in the hope of gaining acceptance. I endured condescending remarks with a forced smile, pretended to be interested in trivial gossip, and let myself be talked over in meetings, my ideas dismissed before I could even voice them. It was exhausting and demoralizing, a slow erosion of my spirit. I realized that in my attempts to please others, I had betrayed myself. I had silenced my own voice, dimmed my own light, and lost sight of my own worth. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. I was tired of shrinking myself to fit into spaces that were never meant for me. I made a decision. I would no longer hide my true self. I chose to embrace my intelligence, my kindness, my unique perspective, even if it meant facing resistance. I knew it wouldn't be easy. There would be challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But I was determined to live a life true to myself, no matter the cost. The consequences were immediate. At work, my newfound assertiveness was met with resistance. Colleagues who were once friendly became distant and wary. My boss, threatened by my growing confidence, began to undermine my efforts. I found myself on shaky ground, my job security hanging in the balance. But something had shifted within me. I had found my voice, my strength, my unwavering sense of self. I realized that true belonging wasn't about conforming to the expectations of others. It was about embracing my individuality and finding my tribe. Those who celebrated me for who I was, not who they wanted me to be. It was a scary but exhilarating feeling, like stepping out of the shadows and into the full radiance of my own light. I knew that the world needed more kindness, more authenticity, more people who were willing to be their true selves, even in the face of adversity, and I am determined to be one of them.